What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel Anime Fiction. I'm back with a new episode of What If Naruto Became the Leader of Justice League Part 5. And if you did enjoy the video, give this video a like. And if you're new to my channel and like my content, subscribe and hit the notification bell for more crossover fictions. Now let's begin this new video.
Chapter 8. Relaxation. Talia groaned and turned to face Sensei. He's still feeling the effects of the pit. He'll reconsider, Sensei said as the pit bubbled. It pleases you to think so, lady, but the master's mind is adamant. It does not shift with the wind. They were startled to hear a voice emanating from the pit. Talia. When they looked around, they saw Roz step out before transforming into her, and then into a big, humanoid pile of wet clay. His teeth are sharp and oddly arranged in his jaws, resembling dry mud. His eyes had turned a lifeless white. Talia, he yelled as Sensei turned to face Talia. I blame you for this. Now. Naruto's penthouse, Gotham, August 26, 7 o'clock Eastern Daylight Saving Time. Naruto entered the hall and opened a closet. When he flipped a switch on the wall, the back wall opened up to show an elevator. He was ready to walk in when the doorbell rang. Naruto moved to the entrance after closing the closet door. I'm coming, he yelled as he opened the door to saw Talia standing in the hall. Hello, Talia. She nodded as Naruto opened the door for her. Hello, Naruto. She entered the kitchen and sat at the table. So, what brings you here? Naruto inquired as he approached the refrigerator. She sighed before continuing. Something came up, and I needed to talk. Flashback. At 23:20 ECT on August 25, Infinity Island. The clay humanoid stretched out and took a calm Talia into his arms. Talia said to the now identified Matthew, Hello, Matthew. Talia. What did you do? Matthew inquired before Sensei severed his arm, causing Talia to tumble in clay. What is that abomination? Talia asked, looking up at her father and Yubu on the staircase. Sensei leapt to his feet and severed Matthew's head. And what is it doing in my Lazarus pit? It's Hagen Master, or what's left of him, Sensei said as he collapsed to the floor. Thanks to the pit, and your daughter. As the others stared at him, Matthew's head and arm grew back. What IISSHHA opinioning TTOOOMMEE? He inquired, pushing Sensei against the wall. Yubu gripped Ra's shoulder and said, You are a shadow. Master, you are healed but not whole. Raz cut him off by gazing back. But I am Master, Yubu, Raz said to Matthew, who knelt to eye level. You are a shadow Hagen and must obey my command. Matthew's brow furrowed. OBMAASSTTEERRSS. Ra's eyes sharpened at him. Now sleep, Matthew said as Raz pulled Talia to her feet. Flashback concludes. As he sat down at the table, Naruto brought her a drink of coffee. So, why was he in the pit for so long, that he somehow became a clay-like being? Talia drank her coffee as a tear streamed down her cheek. He was someone I thought could replace Bruce as my beloved, Naruto explained, raising an eyebrow at her. It started in February. We had been dating in secret for a few months since I knew father wouldn't approve. Flashback. February 28, 2207 ECT, Infinity Island. Ra's daughter had just told him she was dating one of the shadows, so Ra looked her in the eyes. Talia. I don't approve of this, he is beneath you. She sighed and turned around to stroll to the balcony. Perhaps. But it's still my wish to be with him, Raz moaned, running his hand through his hair. I know whom you want for my father, but he does not want me, Raz Al Ghul. He does have seen it. Talia laughed at that. You see with a father's eye. Raz groaned and then spoke up. What about your friend Naruto? He would be perfect. From that interview, he gave that Lois Lane woman. He comes from a world full of shadows like us. Talia gave him a look before speaking out. He's just a friend father. We'll never see each other in that sense. But Matthew sees Talia. Not Talia Al Ghul, she replied as she walked towards him. Are you ashamed of me? He questioned, shaking her head. No, but I want to be seen for me, and not for the accident of my birth. Raz exhaled and cupped her face. Then have your shadow. But be careful. Shadows are in nature shallow, and whatever depths they have, is only more darkness. February 28, 22:35 ECT, Infinity Island. Talia waited near a waterfall until she heard someone land. Well, She turned around to see a blonde-haired man sitting on a rock. He gave us his blessing, Matthew. In his own way. Matthew jumped down and kissed her on the lips. Are you happy, Talia? He murmured as he backed away from the kiss. She replied with a nod. Yes, very. Are you? Matthew sighed before glancing down. I would. If I wasn't dying. Talia was taken aback. What? He stated his reasoning to her. I have cancer. I have 6 months, a year at most, unless you save me, he said, grabbing her hands. I know about the Lazarus pit, and I know it can heal me, she groaned before turning to face him. If you know of it, then you know only my father can use it. He hugged her and supported her head. But you can persuade him for the man you love, she said, frowning. No, Matthew. I cannot. Not after what happened to my mother. He'd make no exception even if my life were at stake. He grinned as he stared at her. But you have access. You can sneak me in. After all, you're Talia al Ghul. She drew away from the hug and narrowed her eyes before taking his hand in hers. You're right. I am Talia al Ghul. She led a robed Matthew to the pit within. You must completely submerge. Before he spoke, Matthew nodded. And it'll cure my cancer? She nodded before removing the robe as he approached the pit. Yes, and it will also make you immortal, he said as he went into the water, smiling. I like the sound of that, he said, hissing in pain as he got to his waist. It hurts. The pain is temporary. But the results are eternal. You must fully submerge. Talia pushed the top of the coffin down and locked it when Matthew nodded. Talia passed Sensei while Matthew screamed at it. May I ask? She cut him off by lifting her hand. No, you may not, Sensei. No one may question Talia al Ghul. She walked up the steps, tears streaming down her cheeks. No one but Talia herself. Flashback concludes. Naruto gave her a look before speaking out. I'm sorry, Talia, but you know. He stared at her before continuing. When I look at you, I do see Talia al Ghul. She looked at him before rising. So you're just like the others, she muttered, walking away until Naruto grabbed her arm and stopped her. He turned her around and saw tears streaming down her cheeks. Before speaking, he wiped them away. But I don't see Ra's daughter. I see you and you alone, he said, pushing her back to the table. I'll make breakfast. Talia smiled at him while he was preparing the supper. Wayne Foundation, August 26, 8:15 a.m. Eastern Daylight Saving Time. 1. What's this about Lucius? Bruce said of the man in front of him, as he and Dick gazed at a metal canister. Lucius is a black man with short black hair that grays around the ears. He wears dark brown glasses and has dark brown eyes. He's dressed casually in a gray worksuit. Not sure, Bruce. It arrived early this morning, addressed to you. Bruce took another look at it before turning to face Lucius. Has it been scanned? Lucius gave him a nod. Post 9/11. Everything is scanned. The only thing in it is mud, or possibly clay. Matthew bursts out of the container and attacks the guards who arrived with Bruce. Bruce, Dick, we've got to get you two out, Lucius said when he noticed they weren't present. He heard something and then saw Batman, who jumped down and kicked Matthew. Matthew shoved them outside and followed them. What did she do to MMEE? He inquired before hearing a trumpet. When he turned back and saw a car approaching, he slammed his hand down, transforming it into a spiky ball. Before Matthew hit them against the wall and down the toilet, Batman and Robin used tasers on him. How did this happen? He inquired, picking up a sample of the clay. August 26, 21:08 at Mount Justice. The team, excluding McGann, was practicing when a screen depicting Batman appeared. Attention team. When they looked up, the screen had enlarged to reveal Batman and Robin, both covered in clay. Take a Zeta beam to Gotham City, and meet Robin at these coordinates. Before Aqualad spoke, the team exchanged glances. What is the mission? Kid Flash asked before Batman could respond. Should we wait for Artemis and McGann? Naruto spoke up from behind them. No, they're busy. McGann's assisting Jean, and I have Artemis doing something else. As Batman proceeded, Naruto stepped over to them. Yes, don't wait. There's a creature in my city, sneered Superboy before crossing his arms. We're supposed to clean up your mess. Before concluding, Batman narrowed his gaze. No. You're going to track it. Until I return with a solution. Sewers, Gotham City, August 27, 4:29 Eastern Daylight Saving Time. The team, sans Naruto, Became, and Artemis, headed into the sewers, and Starfire observed Aqualad had a distant expression in his eyes. "Friend Aqualad?" Aqualad asked, shaking his head. "Are you all right?" Aqualad gave a nod. "Yes, sorry about that." As they reached the corner, Matthew attacked them, forming several hands to seize them. Spoiler and Robin attacked with weapons, blasts with Starfire, strength from both Wonder Girl and Superboy, speed with Kid, and Aqualad attacked with his water. Aqualad, like everyone else, slices off the hand that is holding him. Matthew regrows them, punches them away, and walks away. Batman to the team. "Report, have you encountered the creature?" Aqualad nodded and put his hand to his ear. "Yes, but it was less than successful." The child stood up and dusted off some clay. "If that's Batman, ask him why Artemis isn't here in the fun sewer." August 27, 7:54 Pacific Daylight Saving Time in Star City. Artemis, dressed in an orange jumpsuit, glared as two cops brought her to a bench next to another boy with blue skin and white hair. "Sit here, and don't move." The boy laughed at them. "Leave her alone," the officer said, looking over his shoulder. "Quiet, Junior, or you'll get yours next," snorted Icicle before turning to Artemis. "Don't let them get to you," Artemis said. "I wasn't." Icicle gave her a brief glance. "You look familiar." Artemis cocked her head before nodding. "Yeah, you do too." She trailed off, her eyes widening. "Cameron, Artemis." They both yelled until Cameron cleared his voice. "Babe, you've really..." Artemis cut him off by raising her hand. "Don't get weird, Cam. I'm taken anyways." "No one calls me Cam anymore, I'm Icicle Jr. now." Artemis gave him a nod. "Yeah, I heard you hit it big on Independence Day." Icicle moaned and sagged. "You don't know the half of it." Artemis nodded once more before speaking. "Why don't you tell me? Our dads used to be tight back in the day." Rooftop. Star City, 8:33 Pacific Daylight Saving Time. Artemis stood on a rooftop and relayed what Icicle Jr. had informed her to Naruto and Green Arrow. "He did want to tell me. Wanted me to push to be tried for an adult. I told him with my record I would go to Bel Rev. He just smiled at that." Naruto approached her and hugged her from behind. "You did well, Artemis," she said as she turned in his arms and placed her arms around his neck, smiling. "Naruto," she whispered sweetly as she leaned in. "Yes." She gave him a smirk before kneeing him in the groin. He groaned as he landed on the roof. "Never have me do that again. Or you'll be sleeping on the couch and won't be able to eat ramen for a year." He nodded weakly as she smiled at him. "Good," she said as she turned and walked away with a spring in her step. "I'm glad you got her instead of me." Naruto paused for a while to glance at Green Arrow before continuing. "I don't know what she would have done to me." August 27, 05:38 EDT in Gotham City. The team changed into new outfits, with Kid Flash wearing his trademark yellow. No stealth on this one. Aqualad sat looking out the window while they talked. "At the very least, you have a clean costume," Superboy stated as Starfire approached. "What should we do with the one made of clay?" Spoiler folded her arms and looked at Aqualad. "Aqualad, what do you think? Should we fight it?" Aqualad paused before responding. "Sorry, yes." August 27, 5:40 p.m. Eastern Daylight Saving Time. Is a skinny guy with gray hair and a mustache wearing a three-piece suit, a black jacket, a maroon vest, and a white long-sleeved shirt with a black tie strolled over. Batman with his cowl down was working on a weakness for Clayface. "Master Bruce, do you have a plan? Or are you going to have young Master Dick do the dirty work?" Bruce ignored him, murmuring something about Matthew's clay. "He doesn't hear you, Alfred." Alfred turned to see Naruto approaching. "He's been talking with Atom and Zatara about finding a weakness. As for the team, they can handle themselves." Gotham City, August 27, 5:59 a.m. Eastern Daylight Saving Time. The team came to a halt in a warehouse and split up. Superboy looked around and discovered a clay track. He followed it till he came to Wonder Girl standing in a pile of clay, her back to him. "Wonder Girl?" he asked as he approached, but received no response. "Donna?" He slipped in with a hand on her shoulder. Donna's visage changed into Matthew's, and he absorbed Superboy. "Guys, I've found the creature." Before flying off to him, Wonder Girl heard Superboy's voice in her earpiece. She noticed clay on the floor around him as she saw him. I'm sorry, gorgeous. He got away, Wonder Girl flushed. You think I'm gorgeous? She inquired before getting splattered with clay. Who wouldn't? Wally turned around to find Wonder Girl hugging him. She said seductively, hello. Hey, Wonder Girl. Should we do this? Naruto wouldn't like. He was stopped off as Donna drew him within her. Spoiler turned to see Aqualad after hearing a noise. Aqualad. Found Clayface yet? Aqualad made a shaky motion with his head. No, I have not, Spoiler said, only to be smacked with a spiky clay ball. Robin turned around to see two Kid Flashes. Okay, whoever can tell me my middle name is the real Kid Flash. Both Kid Flashes smirked before their hands transformed into hammers. That's easy for us. Spoiler emerged from the shadows as Starfire landed. Friend Spoiler. Have you found the one made of clay? Spoiler shook her head, causing Starfire to turn back and be dragged into Clayface's arms. After a split second, Clayface's head exploded, and Starfire flew up, her eyes glowing green. She flew up through a skylight to remove the clay off her hair. I should find the others. Her eyes widened as she came to a halt. But the one made of clay might have transformed into one of the others. I should contact friend Cage, she said as she flew to the bioship, without hearing any combat. While the team was down on the floor, Clayface slams Aqualad into a wall before walking over. As Clayface approached, Naruto and Batman descended from the skylight and fired arrows and batarangs at him. They erupted, prompting Clayface to whip his arm at them. Both Batman and Naruto jumped back, aimed a taser at him, shot him, and forced him to become a puddle. Mount Justice, 7:58 a.m. Eastern Daylight Saving Time, August 27th. We need to talk to Aqualad. The rest of you hit the showers and go home. As the team left, Batman, Naruto, and Robin remained beside the tunnel. Alone, Batman said to Robin as he walked away. Look, I'm sorry you had to intervene. I know the team did poorly. Batman cut him off by raising his hand. The team did fine. The problem is you. Your head wasn't in the game. No, you're. Aqualad denied it but sighed. You're right. Lately, my thoughts have been in Atlantis. Naruto arched an eyebrow before crossing his arms. On that redhead girl you've been staring at on your phone. Aqualad's eyes widened before nodding, prompting Naruto to speak. Look. You need to keep your focus on the mission. Or you'll get someone hurt. I'm giving everyone the week off, so why don't you go home to visit and clear your head? If you can't be up here, then let us know by the end of the week. Aqualad nodded before turning to travel down the tunnel. 2. Mount Justice at 9:16 a.m. Eastern Daylight Saving Time on August 27th. After repairing it, a shirtless Naruto was connecting a PS3 and an Xbox 360 to the TV. 3. Before turning to Naruto, Superboy was watching the blue screen. Why do we need both the PlayStation and Xbox? Doesn't the same games come out on both systems? Naruto replied with a nod. Yes, but there are games that just come out for only PlayStation, and only for Xbox, and the PlayStation plays Blu-ray. Hey, Naruto. Naruto noticed Magan leafing through a cookbook. Can you help me please? He nodded and walked up to where she was levitated the book in front of her as she headed to the fridge. Let's see. Naruto received a bag of brown sugar. We'll need brown sugar, a little butter, salt, and cooking oil, Naruto said, trying to keep everything from dropping as too many objects began to tumble on him. Vinegar. Eggs. Tomatoes. Milk. She came to a halt when she heard something break. She turned around to see Naruto, who had everything poured over him and a bowl on his head. I'm so sorry, she said as she rushed over with a towel. It's okay, Magan, Naruto murmured as she wiped her brow. Too much at once. Hello, Megan. She came to a halt when Naruto placed his hand on hers and looked into her eyes. As Naruto was cleaning himself at the sink, Red Tornado strolled in and spotted Magan cutting an onion. As a light came from the tunnel, he moved away. Recognized. Black Canary, 13. A downcast canary entered and sat on the couch. What's wrong, Dinah? Have another fight with Oliver? Naruto questioned as he approached her. No. We just broke up. 4. Naruto blinked in response. What? She sighed before continuing. It was mutual really. You see, our secret identities don't date, and he's like Bruce. A billionaire playboy. It was just too much to handle. So we broke up. Naruto knelt before her. I'm sorry to hear that. He spoke again, and she nodded. Okay. Well, I'm planning on taking the team to the carnival tomorrow. Want to come? It'll help take your mind off the breakup. She looked up and nodded. Gotham City, 20:04 Eastern Daylight Saving Time, August 27th. Dick was doing gymnastics by swinging on rings before falling down. Master Dick. Dick turned around to see Alfred coming in. Master Bruce wants to see you outside. Walking out, Dick noticed Bruce in a basketball jersey and shorts on the court. Hey, Dick. Someone came to see you. He moved out of the way, displaying Starfire. Starfire? What are you doing here? I wanted to check on your friend Robin. I noticed you seemed down after friend Aqualad left. Bruce smirked as he handed Dick a basketball. Practice. Hand-eye coordination. Think you can handle it? Robin couldn't help but smile before taking on his adoptive father, with Corey on the sidelines cheering him on. August 27, 22:06 at Naruto's penthouse. Naruto placed a note on Stephanie's lap as Artemis and Stephanie were watching TV. What's this? She inquired, opening it and seeing that she had received a scholarship at Gotham Academy. But I didn't apply. Naruto shook his head before responding. Well, I've sent in some of your tests, and Mr. Wayne was impressed. He wanted to add you. You should probably go. Artemis started there last year. Naruto concluded his sentence and walked away. Naruto's penthouse will be open on August 28th at 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Saving Time. Artemis stumbled out of her room after hearing her mother scream. With her sleep gone, she hurried to her mother's chamber. Mom, what is? She paused as she noticed Paula in the middle of the room. Standing. Mom. How? She inquired as she approached her. You can thank me for that. They turned around to find Naruto raising his right hand. I did it last night when I picked you up to put you in bed, he exclaimed as he was enveloped in a hug. Thank you. Naruto stroked Paula's back. You'll still need to be in the wheelchair for when company comes or when we go out. Don't want to raise suspicions of you being miraculously fixed out of nowhere. Gotham Park, August 28th at 1900 Eastern Daylight Saving Time. Naruto, the crew, and Magan dressed as a Caucasian girl hurried to the carnival while Naruto in a henge transformation to look in his 20s stood with Diana dressed in jeans and a black shirt, and Paula in her wheelchair watched. Sorry, I'm late. They turned to find Dinah approaching them in jeans and a black jacket over a white blouse. Traffic is terrible, and there's no parking here because of the carnival. Naruto nodded as they walked to the games. Naruto looked around to find everyone playing games, and Dick had won a stuffed silkworm for Starfire, who clutched it. Imagine Silky from the Teen Titans show. When he turned around, he noticed Dinah staring about. Would you like to play any games? She asked, nodding. How about that one? They turned to see a game in which you shot water cannons into the mouth of a clown, causing a balloon to appear and pop. Okay. Be prepared to lose. Naruto chuckled as he, Diana, and Dinah played the game, with Naruto throwing the ball and the women tying it. Mount Justice. Wednesday, September 3rd, 2110 Eastern Daylight Saving Time. Recognized. Aqualad, B03. Aqualad emerged into the tunnel where Batman and Naruto were seated in front of a holographic screen. Naruto gave him a sidelong glance and raised an eyebrow. Well. Aqualad nodded as he stared at him. I'm here, 100%. As the team emerged from the hall, they nodded. The Watchtower detected an immense power surge in the Bialyan desert. The Atlantic Ocean at 016 Coordinated Universal Time -2 on September 4th. A man in a black armored suit with a mantis-shaped head and two big red eyes stood in front of holoscreens displaying the light's hidden figures. From the back of his skull to his shoulders, there are little tubes. His suit's hands are webbed, and each of his legs has fins. This is Black Manta, Aquaman's adversary. I was unable to secure the objective, so I was forced to resort to Plan B, he explained as the person in front of him spoke. You did well. Everything's falling into place, one of the men stated as the screens went blank. Aqualad nodded as he stared at him. I'm here, 100%. As the team emerged from the hall, they nodded. The Watchtower detected an immense power surge in the Bialyan desert. The Atlantic Ocean at 016 Coordinated Universal Time -2 on September 4th. A man in a black armored suit with a mantis-shaped head and two big red eyes stood in front of holoscreens displaying the light's hidden figures. From the back of his skull to his shoulders, there are little tubes. His suit's hands are webbed, and each of his legs has fins. This is Black Manta, Aquaman's adversary. I was unable to secure the objective, so I was forced to resort to Plan B, he explained as the person in front of him spoke. You did well. Everything's falling into place, one of the men stated as the screens went blank. Now. Bialya on September 4, 016 Eastern Europe summertime. Miss Martian grumbled as she sat up and looked out the window at the desert. Kazar Magan. Kacha, Snamoth. Mes and Da. Alans. Sisis Birakas. Hasheda. Oh, my brain. I'm not on Mars. One moon. White sand. Deep breath, oxygen. She slapped her forehead after looking about for a bit and getting her bearings. Hello, Megan. You must be on Earth. She stood up and began heading down the hill. But how did I get here, and why am I wearing this? She said, hissing in pain and holding her head. And why does my head hurt? She tripped and tumbled to the bottom of the slope. Is this a nightmare? She was thinking when something landed beside her, kicking up dust. She noticed Superboy panting as the dust settled. She noticed his S on his shirt. I recognize that symbol. Are you Superman? She inquired as he roared, got up, and ripped his shirt off. He attacked her, causing her to fly through the air. He jumped up to her and collided with a force field she created, knocking them both to the ground. As Miss Martian sighed and drew her knees to her chest, he jumped away. This is not a dream. A nightmare, she thought as she watched Superboy retreat. Bialya, September 4, 5 o'clock Eastern Europe summertime. Naruto sat up and held his head, grumbling. What the hell hit me, a truck? He wondered as he shook his head. Some jerk with mental powers attacked Magan when she discovered what caused the power surge, he thought before moaning again. Okay. Because we were all linked by the link. I'm presuming the others were also affected? Yeah. They all walked away with their heads down. I was able to protect you from harm. With the exception of the hangover. Psimon says. Forget. Said the fellow. Naruto sighed before responding. It reminds me of Psimon. He's the only one I can think of who says, Psimon says, before launching his mental assaults. I swear he needs new material since that is getting old. He was startled to hear a moan and someone speaking in Atlantean. Tula. Lis so me. Aga pa o se. Tula. Dih na med atihn Atlantis sim bih o se. Tula, please. I love you, Tula. When he looked to his left, he noticed an unconscious Aqualad babbling and sweating. I should get him out of the sun. Using hand signs, Naruto built a large dome over them before constructing an entrance and holes just beneath the ceiling. Naruto reached into his coat for a scroll and rummaged through his seals. We'll see. Let's get started. Saltwater. I'm glad I started keeping this for emergencies. He opened an IV and inserted it into Aqualad's arm. Boom. The ground trembled as Naruto hurriedly drew his bow and ran outdoors. What the hell? Looking outside, he noticed Artemis fighting Wonder Girl in her stealth outfit. Artemis, he said. He cried, drawing Artemis' attention to himself. Nah cage. She dashed to him, Wonder Girl after her. Kit, remember, she has some of my chakra in her, and I can restore Donna's memories. As Wonder Girl approached, Naruto held her and murmured, easy honey. What is this crap about, honey? Artemis inquired, glaring, as Naruto sighed. I didn't intend it like that. She's my daughter, as well as Wonder Woman's. What? You two just started dating 2 weeks ago. Naruto winced before continuing. How the hell do you have a 16-year-old daughter? She asked Wonder Girl, who was cooling down. Naruto sighed and narrated what had happened to Cadmus and the team over the previous 6 months. Okay, and we're here. Why? Flashback. The Watchtower detected an immense power surge in the Bialyan desert, Batman explained, pulling up a map of Bialya with a red dot on it. We're going to find out what happened, Naruto said as he stepped up. Bialya is a shady country ruled by Queen Bee, Naruto explained, pulling up a photo of a woman. She is a slender, dark-skinned woman with dark blue eyes and long black hair, which she wears pulled back with a golden diadem on her forehead, as well as golden stinger-shaped earrings and an armband on her right forearm, and she wears a strapless gray miniskirt dress with black pants and high-heel boots. As you know, Queen Bee's kingdom is not part of the League Charter. We'll have to keep radio quiet at all times. Flashback concludes. We arrived here last night and discovered a tent. Magan came in to investigate what was going on, and she was assaulted by Psimon. That guy. Artemis shivered. Really? Naruto nodded as the chakra faded away. Yep. Dad? Donna asks, shaking her head. As Donna hugged Naruto, he nodded. It's okay, baby girl, he replied, chuckling as he felt her puff. I hate that nickname. They heard a scream and Naruto turned to his right to see Starfire in her stealth gear firing at Robin a few miles away. Is anyone else experiencing deja vu? With Spoiler and Kid Flash. Hello, lovely. Get up. Spoiler awoke to see Kid Flash in a shack gazing down at her. Ah. Who the hell are you? She yelled as she stood up. She inquired, as Kid Flash smiled. Spoiler snorted as he said, I'm Kid Flash. No, you aren't. He wears a yellow costume, she added, pointing to his black suit, and Wally scratched his head. I'm not sure how I ended up in this. So, how about you? Are you a fan of ninjas? Spoiler looked down and exclaimed. What the hell? I only drew this a few days ago. How did I acquire these already? She looked up. I'm not sure. The last thing I remember is retiring to bed. They were about to say anything when they heard a whistle. Kid snatched Spoiler and dashed out the door just before a missile impacted the shack. Boom. Thank you, Spoiler said, smiling at Kid. No worries. Do you want to tell me your name? Kid inquired, running away from the tanks that were chasing them. Earlier, Miss Martian. I'm here on Earth. I've desired this for so long. Even if it's not exactly on TV, Miss Martian thought before stopping and striking a meditative position. But how did I get here? Flashback. As Naruto approached, Magan pulled out a platter of cookies. Be careful, Naruto. They're scorching. Kid Flash dashed over and grabbed the cookie Naruto was reaching for, saying, not as hot as you, beautiful. Thanks, Wally, that's. Spoiler and Artemis rolled their eyes at him. Nice, Magan replied, winking. Not as sweet as you, sugar. Spoiler and Artemis punched him in the back of the head, saying, grow up. Suddenly, Batman's voice came over the speakers. Team report to the mission room. Flashback concludes. I'm a member of a team. I have pals. Miss Martian exclaimed happily, a tiny blush appearing on her cheeks. And a boy who might be. She floated up and noticed a dome a few miles out in front of her. That could be interesting, she remarked before hearing Naruto's voice in her brain. Miss Martian, can you read me? She replied with a nod. Yes, Naruto? So you have your memories back. Before responding, she shook her head. No, the only thing I remember is giving cookies before a mission. Naruto, who was standing outside the dome, had caught up with her. Hey, Miss Martian. We could use your help. They were walking to the dome when they noticed attack drones flying by them low to the ground, followed by a tank part flying to the drones. Well, there's Superboy at least. Naruto replied before a red blur flew by. Wonder Girl, wait. Naruto exclaimed before turning to face the others. Stay safe until Miss Martian, Wonder Girl, and I return. He rushed after Wonder Girl, Miss Martin flying after him. Miss Martian crushed the drones together with her telekinesis as they approached and landed to see Kid Flash and Spoiler. She glided down as Naruto and Wonder Girl approached. Well, Jean, the costume looks familiar. But it doesn't scream Manhunter, Kid Flash said as Miss Martian smiled. You know Uncle Jean? She asked, before turning to Spoiler. And you're Spoiler. Stephanie. Martian Manhunter's your uncle? Kid inquired before Spoiler sneered at him. Your name is Wally? She inquired, her shoulders slumping. Naruto approached and spoke up. Okay, the others are just a mile back where we came from. Wonder Girl, Naruto added, looking to Wonder Girl. Come with us. Superboy will be fine. Besides, we'll need the entire team if we're going to calm him down. She lifted her hand to speak, but Naruto stopped her. Like I said, we'll need the whole team, and they won't help if they don't know how to fight. She groaned and nodded. Okay, Dad. Later in the evening, the dome. Naruto had just completed outlining their squad for the previous 6 months when Robin spoke up. I remember Batman ordering radio silence. Do we report to him? He questioned, snorting. Hey, how do you know we don't work under my mentor? He questioned, swiping his fingers across his emblem, reverting it to yellow. Whoa, he said when the others touched theirs, with only Robin and Artemis remaining unchanged. Spoiler sighed and then spoke out. We need our memories, she thought as she noticed Kid Flash continuously pushing his logo. Quit touching yourself. Naruto grumbled. First, don't say that again. Second, Magan here can give us our memories back. Suddenly, everyone gathered in a dark chamber with broken glass fragments depicting everything that had transpired in the previous 6 months. You're going to go through our heads? Spoiler wondered, before Naruto spoke forward. Don't worry. She'll just show us the last 6 months, and only that. Magan's hands became transparent as everyone witnessed everything that had happened in the previous 6 months, including their arrival in Bialya. That's the last we remember. Aqualad is still unconscious, so we can't get anything from him yet. Magan stated before holding her head and watching Superboy shocked as a sphere in front of him spun. Superboy's in trouble, she exclaimed, intending to fly away when Naruto grabbed her. Wait. Wonder Girl, and I will go with you. Wonder Girl can fight Superboy if you can't get to him fast enough, and I can help with Psimon. Everyone else. Stay with Aqualad since you're out of energy and supplies. I'll leave some clones to help you if you need them. When it's safe to head back the bioship. Nodding. Naruto produced numerous clones before fleeing, followed by the girls. Naruto utilized a genjutsu, illusion technique, to make Miss Martian and Wonder Girl invisible. Before hearing a voice, Miss Martian rushed for a keyboard in front of Superboy and turned off the electricity. Psimon says. Forget. Naruto cursed as he looked about for a man, Psimon. Psimon is a balding pale man. His brain is visible through a transparent dome with some skin strips covering it. Each of his cheeks has 3 crimson lines. He's dressed in a gray trench coat with a hood pulled down. He's dressed in a black shirt and gray jeans below the coat. Wonder Girl. Keep Superboy from doing any damage as I help Miss Martian. As the sphere erupted, he dashed over to Wonder Girl, who stopped it from breaking Superboy's bindings, who was struggling. Naruto grabs Miss Martian's hand and enters her head, where he sees Mars with Magan facing Psimon, who has approached her. You're here, screamed Magan as Psimon scoffed. Oh please. He's supposed to help you. Naruto gave an evil smile before pointing up. Nope, but he will. 2 massive red fox paws stomped down beside Naruto and Magan. Psimon raised his eyes to see a big red fox with red slitted eyes and 9 tails roaring at him. Kurama came down and clamped his teeth on Simon's shape, saying, Hello. Appetizer. A small tornado formed outside, sending Psimon flying before it stopped, and Magan fell into Naruto's arms. They exchanged glances before leaning in. Ahem. They looked up to see Wonder Girl, who was still straining in his bindings. Can you fix him first? Miss Martian turned to Naruto after restoring Superboy's memories. What was that fox that helped us out? Naruto groaned and stroked the back of his neck. Kurama. He's a friend of mine. I'll explain everything tomorrow at the cave, she said as they soared back to the ship. Tuesday, September 5th, 2:32 p.m. Eastern Europe summertime. Before hearing Magan's voice, the team is in the bioship, watching over Aqualad. Hey everyone, we've got Superboy, he's back to normal. Before Aqualad rocketed up, they all smiled. Who are you? How did I get here? He inquired as Artemis shoved him down again. Hello, Megan. Aqualad still doesn't have his memories. I knew I forgot something. Before communicating across the link, Kid Flash hits the panel he's staring at. I did, too. No souvenir. Magan grinned before responding. No worries, we've got that covered. Location is unknown. Psimon was telling to the light how the crew took the sphere. The Martian girl escaped with both the sphere and the Superboy. In a feminine voice, the figure on his right spoke up. That's beside the point. What matters is the successful test of our new partner's delivery system, she said, bringing up a video of the sphere being delivered by a yellow-lighted webbed tunnel. Soon, even greater tech will come. Ones that will put the sphere, and even Superboy, to shame, she said, making Psimon smirk, before recalling something. Oh, yeah. Cage has a very powerful being inside his mind, he began to explain before trembling. It put out similar energy as Clarion, but on a much larger scale, he said, making everyone glance down in thought. Naruto's penthouse, Gotham, September 5th, 1700 Eastern Daylight Saving Time. Naruto, Artemis, Stephanie, and Donna walked through the door. I've got an extra bed set up with the girls for you, Donna, Naruto remarked as Paula entered. So, You're finally staying the night, Donna. I thought I'd never see you again after the carnival, Naruto said as he walked to his room. You're so dramatic, Paula. Paula smiled as the girls proceeded to their rooms. Ah, come on, Naruto. I still want baby grandkids to spoil, she murmured as Artemis approached her chamber. Mom. She yelled as Paula chuckled as she walked into her room. Oh, yeah. Cage has a very powerful being inside his mind, he began to explain before trembling. It put out similar energy as Clarion, but on a much larger scale, he said, making everyone glance down in thought. Naruto's penthouse, Gotham, September 5, 1700 Eastern Daylight Saving Time. Naruto, Artemis, Stephanie, and Donna walked through the door. I've got an extra bed set up with the girls for you, Donna, Naruto remarked as Paula entered. So, you're finally staying the night, Donna. I thought I'd never see you again after the carnival, Naruto said as he walked to his room. You're so dramatic, Paula. Paula smiled as the girls proceeded to their rooms. Ah, come on, Naruto. I still want baby grandkids to spoil, she murmured as Artemis approached her chamber. Mom. She yelled as Paula chuckled as she walked into her room. Now. September 4, 1326 UTC-2, Atlantic Ocean. A squid-headed Atlantean was swimming away from a group of individuals dressed in black and crimson hooded capes. He squirts ink and takes cover behind a reef. I think I lost them, he remarked before hearing someone cough. When he glanced back, he saw more people with lightning around their hands. Mount Justice. The 5th of September, 1612 Eastern Daylight Saving Time. Are you sure you'll be alright? We don't have to go home so soon. As Artemis, Robin, Kid Flash, and Spoiler stood in the tunnel, she remarked. Calder smiled as he nodded. Yes, I'll be going home soon, he added before the computer spoke up and the others vanished in a flash of light. Recognized. Artemis, B01 Robin, B02. Kid Flash, B04. Spoiler, B10. When Calder turned around, he saw Magan, Superboy, Donna, and Naruto putting on his red cloak. I'm returning to Atlantis, and I was wondering if you three would like to accompany me? Magan nodded immediately. We'd love to, I would love. Donna nodded as Naruto approached the tunnel. Okay, be careful though. I know your mother can swim that far underwater. But you do have some of my genes. 1. Okay. Dad. I'll keep a clone or two to gather natural chakra somewhere. Before entering the tunnel, Naruto hugged her. Recognized. Cage, 17. Superboy turned to face Calder before returning his gaze to the tunnel. Why didn't you invite the others to join? Calder groaned before proceeding to explain. Our friends wouldn't do well in the high pressure from the bottom of the ocean. I thought it would be kinder to make it after they left. Okay. Let's go, Superboy remarked as he walked to the tunnel, only to be halted by Calder. Actually, I think we should take the scenic route. Shaeris. September 6, 1:31 p.m. Coordinated Universal Time -2. Welcome to my birthplace, the Atlantean city-state of Shaeris. In the bioship, Calder pointed to the undersea city. A.N. For a clearer image, try Young Justice Shaeris. It's spectacular. Magan cried as he looked over the city, just as Superboy saw something. Hey. Are you smaller? He inquired, noticing Magan only reaching his chest rather than being a few inches shorter. It's the pressure. The bioship's smaller at this depth also. She responded as Donna approached. Do we have anything on board to help us breathe? Calder asked, nodding and motioning to a case. Yes. I also brought swimsuits. Magan grinned and shook her head. None for me. Magan's clothing changed to a sleeveless top and slacks with fins and gills sprouted on her neck. Outside, Superboy and Donna are dressed similarly to Calder as they swim to his house, where they are greeted by Calder's parents. His father is a bald black man with gills and webbed hands and feet. He's dressed in a simple, skin-tight purple Atlantean outfit. A lighter-colored stripe, similar to a belt, runs across his waist. A similar color stripe runs around the end of his sleeves and over his shins. His mother has long blonde hair with gills and is dressed in a green shirt, skirt, purple beaded necklace, and belt. A.N. For a clearer image, type Shalina Young Justice. Calder, you look thin, his mother murmured as she held his hands as his father rolled his eyes. He replied, Shalina, Let him breathe, before Calder signaled to the others. Mother, Father, these are my friends Superboy, Wonder Girl, and Miss Martian. Please call me McGann, McGann added in Atlantean, widening the eyes of Calder's parents. You speak Atlantean, Shalana exclaimed, as McGann shook her head. No, my physic abilities allow me to translate and communicate. Wonder Girl and Superboy both nodded, and the genomes that trained us had us learn the language. As Calvin took Calder aside, Wonder Girl said, Have you visited Poseidonis yet? First thing in the morning, Calder said as Shalana continued to converse with the other youngsters who were excited to learn about Atlanteans. Then be careful. Rumors say there's trouble brewing in the capital. Poseidonis. September 6, 8:06 a.m. Coordinated Universal Time -2 in front of the Queen of Atlantis, Calder saluted. She has a slim build, an angular face, and green eyes. She is wearing an India green halter necktop that exposes her stomach and a matching pareo around her waist, with her long red hair pulled back in a ponytail. A golden ring secures the top and pareo together. She also wears a golden crow-like tiara with green protuberances framing her face, as well as an India green Usex-style collar with a gold piece in the center. A harlequin translucent veil beneath her pareo and around her shoulders, strapped to her collar, completes the look. Calder. It's an honor to meet your friends and teammates. As McGann waved, she said with a smile. The honor is entirely ours, Queen Mara. I've lived on Mars my entire life and have never met the royal family, she stated as Wonder Girl swam up and raised her hand. She was going to say anything when a male voice interrupted her. There's a certain wisdom in inaccessibility. They were all taken aback when they saw a tall, black-haired Caucasian man with a powerful build. His hair is slicked close to the head but falls to the nape of his neck, and he has long sideburns and blue eyes. He's dressed in a sleeveless black and dark red tunic with a wide gold collar that combines a close-fitting, round, and high collar around the neck and a Usex-style collar on the shoulders. He also wears gold braces and a broad gold belt with a stylized sea creature on the front. When the queen carries the heir to the throne, Mara rolled her eyes at him while Wonder Girl narrowed hers. And this is my overprotective brother-in-law Orm, Wonder Girl said before leaning in and whispering. Hey, could we talk in the link without Aqualad? She asked, nodding and concentrating for a while. Okay. What's wrong? Superboy asked, looking around to see Aqualad and the others speaking before Wonder Girl answered. I sense evil intent from Orm, the other said after a brief glance at her. What? Miss Martian inquired before Wonder Girl elaborated. Dad has an ability that can sense a person's true intent whether they're good or not, and I'm sensing evil in him. A.N. Naruto's ability on Turtle Island that detected Kisame concealed in his blade, Sameda. Should we tell Aqualad? Superboy questioned, looking at Wonder Girl. No. Not without some proof at least. Aquaman and Aqualad knew him for all their lives, and without proof, it would put him on guard, and put us on their bad side. McGann gave Orm a look before speaking out. I could read his mind, and show the others. No, he might have barriers or something to protect him, and he'll just say we were trying to kill him or that we're going to attack Atlantis, Wonder Girl said before swimming up to Mara. I was wondering where Poseidon or Neptune's buildings are because I wanted to pay my respects, Mara said, astonished. Oh, that's right. Your mother's Wonder Woman. And you are from the Mishira. Of course, I'll have someone show you. As they walked away, Orm looked over at Aqualad and placed a hand on his shoulder. I'm glad you, and your fellow champions are here Calderam. There have been reports of unrest originating at the Conservatory of Sorcery. Later, at the Sorcery Conservatory, Aqualad smiled as he introduced his former students. McGann Moors, Superboy. These are some of my former classmates. Ronald. He pointed to a blonde-haired kid in a green-black trimmed swimsuit who crossed his arms. A whale with arms waved at them, Blubber. Lori Lamaris. A mermaid with long brown hair pulled back loosely by braids and a headband smiled at them. She has thin features and bright amber eyes. Her fishtail is segmented with dark green and turquoise sections and is angled vertically with other fin protrusions along the front seam. She's dressed in a crimson and maroon tunic with dual-layered epaulettes, silver arm braces, and extra red armlets on her upper left arm. Lagan. They were waved at by a man Atlantean with amphibious adaptations. He possesses webbed ears, claws, and feet, as well as green skin and red eyes. He has dark green fins on his head, which he has tied in a ponytail, and he wears black shorts. A human-shark hybrid snorted before crossing his arms, and Nanawe Shark. That's King Shark Chum, and don't you forget it. The Atlanteans began asking questions about the surface as the others attempted to respond. Miss Martian smiled as she swam up to Lori. I adore mermaids, she murmured as her legs morphed into a tail and her pants into a skirt. What do you think? She questioned, astonished by Lori's reaction. Before Ronell swam away, she said, I'm flattered. What's the matter, Chum? Feeling outnumbered? Shark inquired before another voice intervened. Calder. Looking to his left, Calder noticed the girl on his phone, as well as a boy with whom she was holding hands. Guys, I want you to meet Tula and Garth. Garth is a Caucasian adolescent with dark hair, purple eyes, and a slim physique. His hair is relatively long, but a section of it is tucked into a ponytail at the back of his head, while the rest falls to the nape of his neck and jawline. He's dressed in a skin-tight bikini that bears his arms and legs. It is mostly blue-gray, with a midnight blue vest-shaped design on the body and azure lines running its edges and collar area. He wears a matching belt around his waist, with linked tassets dropping down over his upper thighs. He also has midnight blue bands wrapped around his forelimbs. Any Calder friends are welcome here, Tula replied as Miss Martian stared at Aqualad. Hey, guys. As Miss Martian looked to Superboy before speaking through the link, they turned to see Wonder Girl swim over. So that's why Calder brought us. He loves Tula but she's with Garth, and he didn't want to come alone. Topo. Cried Aqualad as he noticed a squid Atlantean swimming by. He swam up to him and grabbed him. I want you to meet. Aqualad paused, the Atlantean word, Marae, burnt on his breast. A.N. To see what it looks like, check out issue number 14 of the tie-in comic. Topo. Who did this? He exclaimed as Lori grabbed Topo and walked away. It does not concern you, Calderam. Ah, Squidboy's Chum, and Chum gets what it deserves. Swallowed, Shark replied, looking around the room. Tula lowered her gaze before continuing, I couldn't read those symbols. It's Old Atlantean. It means, Impure, September 6, 6:01 Eastern Daylight Saving Time. Bar Harbor Windward Home Assisted Living. You have a visitor, Mr. Lockhart. A nurse stated as a man with black hair and a mustache went in to find an elderly man staring out at the sea. That's Dr. Lockhart, and I'm not expecting any visitors, he explained before the black-haired man smiled. No need to be cranky, Jim. We're leaving. Don't be ridiculous. I don't know you, he said before turning around and approaching. Yet you come when I call, the man continued, glaring at Jim. Listen, son, I just can't run off with every stranger. He was halted as he passed past him by the man. I'm no stranger, and I'm not your son. And don't worry. You won't need your walker. Poseidonus. The 6th of September, 1927 Coordinated Universal Time -2 Aqualad, Miss Martian, Superboy, and Wonder Girl swam alongside Tula and Garth as they explained the Purists, a group whose mission is to purge Atlantis of impure Atlanteans who don't seem totally human. With my exposed gills, I'm considered impure, Aqualad lamented before Tula intervened. Only by the rigid and ridiculous of standards. They were about to continue when they heard some arguing. Looking ahead, they noticed Calder's classmates arguing about being purists with other Atlanteans. As Shark glanced at them, Miss Martian utilized her talents to separate them. This isn't your problem, Earthlings, he explained before Tula spoke out. But it is ours. Tula's and Garth's tattoos sprang to life as each group went, leaving Aqualad with a mournful expression on his face. September 6, 2009, UCT-2, Atlantic Ocean. Along with the rest, Ronal and the three Atlanteans from earlier wore purist cloaks as they gazed at a man on a throne clutching a gold trident. Those fish heads would have been marked, impure, if Calder and his friends hadn't intervened, Ronell added as the man glanced down in concentration. The man was dressed in purple armor with a cape. The armor consists of spalders, which protect his shoulders, and fingerless gauntlets and greaves, which cover his forearms and shins. He also wears a belt with an upside-down crescent moon and a helmet that hides his face, revealing only his mouth. His eyes are shielded by two spherical opaque crimson lenses. His armor has an aquatic theme, with protuberances fashioned like fins on the greaves and tears and rips on the base of the cape, resembling a caudal fin. This is Ocean Master, Aquaman's adversary. He smiled as he gazed up at the gathering. Then it's fortunate that they did intervene. For anonymity is the purist's greatest weapon. Now put on your hoods, my children. They're to you what Neptune's trident is to the Ocean Master. As Ocean Master rose up and pounded his trident on the ground, they put on their hoods. The hour is approaching. The good King Orin is away. And by the time he returns, Poseidonus will be cleansed of the impure, he said as one of the gathering piped up. And what if Calderam and his surface friends? Fear them not. But be ready. Now depart. As the company went, Ocean Master removed his helmet, revealing a happy Orm. September 6, 2012 PDT in Star City. Naruto, Artemis, Black Canary, and Spoiler were examining through binoculars at a museum when Artemis discovered something. Security's been messed with. And the bars on the windows are cut. So are we going in? 'Cause I'd like to bust this guy. Naruto rolled his eyes, then took an arrow and shot a line down to the museum. Hey, it could be a hot woman, they all said as they descended the rope and entered the building. So he, or she, is somewhere in here somewhere, Artemis stated as Naruto nodded and pulled out another arrow. Naruto's arrow lighted up as they entered the weapons display, lighting up the chamber and the masked people inside. It's they. Black Canary sighed as she glanced at Naruto. It never fails. Every time I'm paired up with you, something like this happens. Small price to pay for being with a sexy man like myself. She deadpanned before slamming into someone who tried to sneak up on her. Naruto fired the arrow, causing it to burst in a flash of light. Are they always like this? Spoiler questioned, knocking someone over. Just when things go wrong, Artemis said, as she saw a woman grasp a dagger made of two snakes intertwined with their tails acting as the blade. Artemis fired an arrow into the air, causing oil to pour down on everyone. After tending to the survivors, everyone rushed to the roof to see a helicopter fly away. Damn, too late. Artemis took out a GPS and demonstrated it to the gathering. Microbeads in the oil act as a tracker, Naruto explained as his phone vibrated. He picked it up, saw who it belonged to, and walked away. Hold on, I need to take this, he said before responding, and he heard a disguised voice. There's going to be trouble at the peace talk in Taiwan. Before speaking, Naruto sighed. Okay, I'll have someone in the league handle. He came to a halt when he heard his phone buzz. Sorry, just a second, he said before hitting a button. Before hearing Red Arrow's voice, he asked, yeah? I need help keeping an eye on the peace talk in Taiwan. Okay. I'll be there, Naruto said, pinching his nose before returning to the other voice. I'll be there, he said, and after a brief pause, the speaker spoke up. You sure? I know you wanted to see your daughter to school.
Naruto sighed as he glanced up at the moon. I'll just send a clone. I'll get the memories anyway. See you later, he said as he hung up the phone and headed up to the others. Red Arrow needs my assistance tomorrow, he replied, staring at Artemis. Are you still after them? She asked before Naruto grabbed her. Canary, Spoiler, hold on, he said as they held his shoulder and he vanished.
September 6, 2020 Eastern Daylight Saving Time, Queens Memorial Cemetery. Jim and the man were preparing to dig a grave. Daynette. Really heroin 1924 to 1945. I shouldn't be doing this. I knew Daynette, Jim remarked as the man pointed down at the last dirt pile on the coffin. Open her up. He demonstrated this by portraying a 20-year-old woman with red hair dressed as a superhero. She's well preserved for being in the ground for 60 years. Poseidonus. The 6th of September 23:45 UCT2. Mera awoke to see Ocean Master and a group of purists staring at her. Sweet dreams, my queen. He pointed his trident at her as the tentacle tattoos on her arms and up to her face lit up. Ocean Master stunned her with his trident before she could attack. Ah. She went unconscious after a little while, and the purists led her out of the room. Before an astral projection of Mera appeared in front of Calder, the youths were getting ready for bed in pods in another room. Queen Mera. Calderam, I need you. They all swam outside after seeing the purists swim out of the bedroom, and Wonder Girl narrowed her eyes at Ocean Master. There. Aqualad said through the link, pointing ahead. It's Ocean Master, and he has the queen, he exclaimed as he finished drawing his swords. Hold traitors. 4 purists swam over, and tattoos on their arms lit up. Aqualad transformed one sword into a mace before striking another, while Miss Martian used her powers to send one flying and Superboy and Wonder Girl punched theirs to the ground, smashing it. "You will unhand the queen," Aqualad shouted as she followed the group outdoors. As his group left, Ocean Master came to a halt in front of them. "So, the fishhead thinks he can give orders. You spend a little time with royalty, and you think you're one," he said as he lifted his trident again. "But proximity does not create majesty, fishhead, nor wisdom. The palace has spells in place only allowing defensive spells to be used," he muttered before thrusting his trident forward and shocked them senseless. "But outside is a different story." Poseidonis. Saturday, September 7, 0041 UCT2. Calderam. As his vision cleared, Aqualad noticed Orm staring down at him. "Calderam, are you okay?" Aqualad jumped up and glanced about. "Queen Mara." Orm soothed him before escorting him and the others to the war chamber. "I've sent word to King Orin. But Aquaman is on a mission for the Justice League and cannot be reached. It's up to us to save the queen." "And the air she carries," Aqualad added, her gaze fixed on the map Orm had brought up. "Of course. Now, my sources found 2 possible strongholds, but as some of the guards have been complicit in the abduction, I and a few guards I trust will go to one. As you and your friends go to the other." Aqualad gave a nod as the rest fled. "Agreed. Swim carefully, Prince Orm. Ocean Master is formidable and dangerous." Aqualad whispered over his shoulder as Orm smiled. So it is said. Old Roman's Trench. Saturday, September 7, 0131 UCT2. Miss Martian spiked up through their link as the group swam along a trench. "According to Orm, one of the purists' hideouts is along this trench," Wonder Girl said, nodding. Miss Martian disconnected Aqualad from the link so they could converse. "I told Garth and Tula we're going to a purist's hideout and told them to get help because we're walking swimming into a trap," Wonder Girl explained before Superboy stood out. "Hopefully they'll get here before we're attacked then." As purists surrounded them, a boulder fell in front of them. Aqualad's classmates attacked them when the purists attacked them. Before grasping him, Shark punched him. "Let's remove that hood." "The tasty way," he replied, his jaw dropping. "Shark, no." Lori yelled, swatting the purists away with her tail as Shark barely nibbled a piece of fabric off. "Don't ever try that again, Lamaris," he said, moving in close and exposing her his teeth. "Unless you want to be my chum," she said, nodding and pointing at the fabric. He spat it out before responding, "You have something in your teeth." "Nothing good." Satyroman Cave. Saturday, September 7, 0134 UCT2. Mara was tied to a pedestal on her knees as Ocean Master stood in front of his throne. "What do you want?" she said as he drew his trident and pointed it at her. "What do I want?" "Only what's mine. But first," he answered before startling her as the energy drained her. He cried, "I want your power," before smiling as she wailed. "Please. Stop. You'll drain my life force, and I'm pregnant," Mara pleaded as Ocean Master sneered. "Yes, an heir to the throne. Such a tragedy that he'll not survive the night." He lifted his trident, and energy erupted about him. "But, at the very least, he'll be in good company. Clean the impure and half-breeds." Energy flowed from him and out. Old Roman's Trench. Saturday, September 7, 0144 UCT2. Except for Miss Martian, everyone except the purists, Garth, and Tula fought until the Atlanteans collapsed and held their heads. "I feel weak," Aqualad murmured as Tula assisted him in getting up and noticed the purists picking up swords. Ink suddenly enveloped them as Topo snatched up Shark. Tula exclaimed, "I can't see," as Superboy's eyes turned crimson. "I can." He claimed to be able to see everyone clearly and assaulted every purist. Wonder Girl focused on Miss Martian's path and communicated through the link. "McGann, you read me?" As Miss Martian spoke up, she noticed a cave entrance. "Yes. I'm sending you a mental place right now." Aqualad shook his head as he and Loria peered around the room. "Lagan, Blubber Shark, and Topo are no condition to fight." He said this before Tula spoke. "Neither are you, and Lori let us handle." Aqualad stopped her with his hand. "No. Ocean Master is too powerful, and his purists are too great in numbers." Lori nodded before following him. "Beside, if we fishheads don't fight our own battles, that would just add fuel to the fire for purists to use." Teton County, September 7, 016 Mountain Daylight Saving Time, laser scalpel. As Jim handed him a scalpel, the man said, "Please don't do this." As the man slashed Daynette down the middle, Jim pleaded. Jim covers his mouth when he notices a crimson female robot with a yellow arrow running down the center of her body and another on her head. "Now. Your turn." The man stated that he was doing the same to Jim. Another robot is revealed, this time with yellow arrows in the shape of a M on his chest and head. "Well. Don't you two look like a picture? Please remind me to bring a camera to our family reunion." Satyroman Cave, Saturday, September 7, 01:55 UCT2. A purist swam in after hearing the Ocean Master remark that he wasn't going to rid the ocean of the impure, but rather to have those who remained declare war and then control the oceans after it was finished. "So you used us?" Coming in, he removed his hood, mocking Ronal. He summoned eels to assault Ocean Master, who used them against him. He felt a tug on his trident before looking over and detecting Miss Martian. "Oh, Calder's surface dweller on Mars. I know just how to handle you." He explained that he was heating the water around Miss Martian until he heard someone yell at him. When he looked over, he watched the team swim over to him before hitting Superboy's breather and causing him to sink. Tula, Garth, and Lori fought Ocean Master, who had summoned a squid to attack them. "Superboy, hold on." Miss Martian described swimming down and kissing him to give him breath. Wonder Girl turned around and hissed at them. "Keep in mind. She's merely giving him oxygen." Before Garth roared, she thought with an eyebrow twitch. "I call upon the power of the Tempest." He hurled a powerful spray of water toward Ocean Master, preventing him from depleting Mara. "You're so close, child." However, Ocean Master is not easily defeated. He muttered this before turning to view the others, all in battle stances, including Mara. "Without Queen Mara's powers, you can't win now." Aqualad muttered this as Ocean Master vanished via red vortex. Poseidonus. 701 UCT-2, September 7. "You mean King Orin pardoned Ronal? He's my lunch." Shark referred to himself as Topo, and Lori stopped him from attacking Ronal. "He switched sides, and helped us." Lori spoke as Topo approached Shark. "Shark. Stand back." Shark hissed at him before snorting, he said. "Neptune's beard, I hate being beholden to a squid," he groaned before pausing his assault. Aquaman, Mara, and Orm joined the rest in applauding the team. Once again. "Atlantis is in your debt, Calderam," Aquaman remarked, as Orm nodded. "Yes. And rest assured, I'll track down the sources that led us both astray." Aqualad gave a nod before saying up. "Many thanks. We should now return to the surface. For these three, Earth High School begins this morning." "Yeah. Dad left me like a dozen messages reminding me to go to bed early." As Miss Martian spoke out after her, Wonder Girl said. "And besides, aren't you dying to know what Artemis and the others have been doing?" Mount Justice. Saturday, September 7, 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight Saving Time. McGann, Superboy, Calder, and Donna entered the cave before Donna signaled for McGann and Superboy to follow her. "What's wrong, Donna?" McGann inquired as they entered her room. Donna sighed before turning to face them. "Ocean Master feels the same way Orm does. They are the same individual." Her words caused the other person's eyes to widen. To be continued.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel, Anime Fiction. I'm back with a new episode of What If Naruto Was Reborn as Saitama in My Hero Academia Part 6. And if you did enjoy the video, consider a like and review my channel, like my content, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more crossover fictions. Now let's begin this new video.